In May of 2003, a new technology called HDR was invented, also known as high dynamic range, and allows for a wider spectrum of colors to be captured and displayed. But HDR technology wasn't implemented into television sets until August 22nd, 2012. And the first 4 movies to utilize this HDR technology was Life of Pi, Kingsman: The Secret Service, The Maze Runner, and Exodus: Gods and Kings. Since then, it has been used in every major motion picture in America, and a few other countries as well. And for the sci-fi genre in particular, HDR cameras allows for a more vibrant scenescape. But for the horror genre, however, the use of HDR does more harm than good in most cases. I will admit that films like Robert Eggers' Nosferatu uses HDR very well, with its deep black shadows and vivid orange flames. But HDR only works for horror in very specific cases. So exactly how does having more colors harm the horror industry? Well, let's discuss that. A good example would be the Saw franchise. The first entry had a very desaturated color palette, which emphasized its dark tone, making it feel dirty and uncomfortable. It has muted whites, dirty browns, and faded blues. And the green tint helped to highlight the sickening nature of each trap. But in 2017's Jigsaw, however, the whole film was full of vibrant reds, cozy browns, and vivid blue lights. This color palette created a pleasing atmosphere, which completely works against the story being told. But Saw is not meant to be pleasing to the eye. It is meant to be disturbing and profound. Another example of color usage is Halloween from 1978. The original version had muted colors, as well as classic film grain. This gave it an almost found footage aesthetic, as if you were watching a snuff film. But the newer entries, however, have bright and vivid colors, as if it were a giant TV commercial. Same thing with the TV series Chucky, or Scream 5. So many horror projects being forced to adapt to wider color palettes in order to sell more HDR televisions. Even remasters of older horror films have significantly more color than the original version. Because the modern audience will lose interest if there's any less than 1,000 colors on the screen at any given time. Now, I'll admit, some directors are slowly fixing this issue. For example, 2021's Spiral brought back the darker color palette that was missing from 2017's Jigsaw. And Scream 6 seemed to be less colorful than Scream 5. In fact, most of the horror films releasing this year appear to have calmed down from the HDR craze. But it still hasn't gone away completely, with a lot of films opting for at least normal colors instead of the unique color grading that films used to have. In the early 2000s, horror films felt dark and gritty due to their darker color grading.
What the hell are you doing in my house?
You're gonna die.
But in the modern day, color grading seems to be mostly a thing of the past.
Look around you. It's the World Series of Slaughter.
Stop. Did you feel that? Everywhere Jake Wheeler goes, death seems to follow.
The modern era is still capable of making good films. They just don't feel the same as they used to. The horror seems to be taking a back seat in favor of making the image as appealing as possible. Have I truly gone insane? Or is there really something missing from modern horror? Let me know your thoughts on the matter. But for now, that is all I have to say. My name is John Morton, and you have been watching Disturbed Kiwi.